And now we bring you Senator Jeff Bingaman from the great state of New Mexico.
Senator Bingaman, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, great to be with you.
You know, we're doing this this piece every week on focusing on winning back the Congress for the Democrats. Of course, you know, your race, not one of the closest ones, not one of the ones we're keying on. What's it like running against nobody, essentially? I know you have a campaign to run. You have to get your issues out there. What's that like for you?
Well, I think the extent of the campaign I have to run sort of depends upon what my opponent winds up doing, and there's still time for a real campaign to be launched and a serious effort to be made. So we're watching it every day, and we're running our own ads. We did a few ads earlier in the summer. We're going to do some radio and television this fall, and I'm getting around the state and trying to keep my volunteers organized.
Are you getting around the country too, being a surrogate for others that are running for Senate?
Well, I haven't gotten around the country that much. Frankly, I don't kid myself into thinking I can do a lot to get votes for people in other parts of the country. But
Senator,
we're trying to help other candidates. Yeah.
Senator Bingaman, you know, you're right to be cautious, of course. As Senator Lieberman found out in Connecticut, you never know how quickly a challenger can come up from behind to give you an effective challenge to a senator. Senator Lieberman's race is, of course, on top of a lot of people's minds. Have you taken a position on that race yet?
Well, I haven't. I know Joe. I'm a good friend of Joe's. I think he's chosen to run as an independent. I think he'll wage a strong campaign. I know most of official Washington is going to support Ned Lamont, and that's as it should be. But I don't know enough about Connecticut politics to tell you which of the two is likely to prevail. So,
but as a Democrat, don't you think that there's an inclination that to say, listen, the Democrats of Connecticut have spoken. If the Democrats of New Mexico had spoken in a race that wasn't yours, you'd get behind that Democrat, no?
Well, that's probably right. But as I say, I'm not voting in Connecticut. I don't claim any expertise on what the people of Connecticut choose to do. So I'll leave it to them, and whichever of the two win, I know Joe has said he would organize with Democrats. He would continue to operate as he has in the past and be an ally with Democrats on most issues. So that's to the good.
Well, I hear you on that, what you're saying there, Senator, but you even said in your answer that most of official Washington is supporting Ned Lamont, and then that's probably the right thing to do. If it's the right thing to do, then I think you ought to. Don't you think you ought to support Ned Lamont too? I mean,
well, I'm not. I don't know Ned Lamont. He hasn't asked for my support. He knows that I can't get any votes for him in Connecticut, and anybody with any sense knows that.
You're huge in Connecticut, Senator.
Right,
you appreciate
that.
Yeah.
I got great support, particularly in Hartford.
Oh, they love you in Hartford.
I'm real strong in Hartford.
A senatorial joke. I love when one comes out. That was fantastic.
Right.
Senator Bingaman, we don't have very much time with you. I want to talk about, we're doing everything we can to help the Democrats win the Congress and the Senate.
Well, thank you.
And we want to know, what does that mean for energy policy? Now we're going to play into your wheelhouse a little bit. How important is it that the average American, somebody who's not clued in on this, know that electing a Democratic Congress and energy policy change, how important is it to do that?
Well, I think, of course, if we get a Democratic Senate, we then have the ability to exercise oversight over the administration and over the energy industry, and I think that would be a substantial benefit. I think that we can push for more attention to conservation. We can push for more attention to renewable energy. We can try to shine the light on abuses that we see in the current energy situation, and I think that's the main advantage of getting a majority in the Senate.
We're talking to Senator Jeff Bingaman from New Mexico. Senator Bingaman, I want to talk about another domestic issue. In the Alito confirmation process, you voted against the Sam Alito, but you and Senator Lieberman actually wound up voting against the filibuster. And it turns out, Senator, that Sam Alito's wound up, unfortunately, fulfilling our worst fears about him. And do you seeing the way he's voted in the first term, do you regret not fighting harder for a filibuster there?
Well, I think it was clear we didn't have the votes to sustain sustain a filibuster at the time, and I'm not one for just going through futile efforts, but I do think I've been disappointed that he has voted as he has. I think that he's been virtually consistently on the right end of the spectrum on everything that's come before the court since he's been there. So I'm disappointed with that, and yes, if I had that vote to do it again, I might do it differently.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time, Senator Bingaman, and thank you for coming on the Young Turks.
And good luck in that race.
Okay, I appreciate it very much.
Hang in there, you can do it.
Okay, good talking to you guys. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Senator. Yeah, he's bigger in Stanford. He doesn't even
He
appreciate
is, but he's modest.
Yeah.
He can't. Senator Bingaman cannot buy a drink in Connecticut.
No.